Lesson 3, column addition. 456 add 321. These are quite big numbers, so what I'm going to do is use column addition to add them together. So first of all, I need to write them down differently. So I write them down in their columns of hundreds, tens and units. So the first number is 456, and I write it down. The next number is 321, so we write that down underneath. They're now in line, the units are under the units, the tens are under the tens, and the hundreds are under the hundreds. We're going to add them together. And we always start with the units. So starting with the units, 6 add 1 is 7. Move on to the tens, 5 add 2 is 7. Move on to the hundreds, 4 add 3 is 7. So let's look at that again. We always start units first, so starting with the units. 6 add 1 is 7, 5 add 2 is 7, 4 add 3 is 7. So 456 plus 321 is 777. The beauty of column addition is we never have to add numbers that are large. They're always nice, easy numbers. Let's try another. 438 plus 151. So first of all, write it down as a column addition. So the numbers are in line under their columns, hundreds, tens and units. To add them, we're going to start at the units. So starting at the units, 8 add 1 is 9. Move on to the tens, 3 add 5 is 8. Move on to the hundreds, 4 add 1 is 5. Try that one in your book. Pause the video and have a go. 632 plus 357. So we write it down as hundreds, tens and units. We start with the units first. 7 add 2 is 9. 3 add 5 is 8. 6 add 3 is 9. Right, try the ones in your workbook. Pause the video and have a go. And here are the answers. Right, what about when the answer to one of the columns is more than 9? So here I've got three sums written out. Let's try the first one. 456 plus 324. So units first. 6 add 4 is 10. Now, I can't write 10 in here. I can only put one digit in each column. So what do we do? So 6 add 4 is 110 and no units. 10 is 110 and no units. So I put the 10 under the tens column and the units under the units column. Just check reading across 1, 0. Does it still say 10? Yes, it does. Go to the next column. 5 add 2 is 7, but now we also have this number, the 1, in the column as well, so we need to add that on too. So in the tens I now have 5 add 2, which is 7, add 1, which is 8. And then in the hundreds I have 4 add 3, which is 7. Let's try the next one. Units first. 8 add 4. Well, 8 add 4 is 12. But I can't write a 12 in here. I need to put the tens, which is 110, in the tens column, and the units, which is 2 units, in the units column. Now I do the tens. 7 add 5. Well, 7 add 5 is 12, and then I have 1 down here, which is 13. But I can't write 13 in. I need to put the 13, the 1 from the 13 into the next column, and the 13 under the tens, and the 3 under the tens. Now I move to my next column. 4 add 1 is 5, and this one down here. 4 add 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we'll try one more together. 687 plus 557, units first. 7 add 7 is 14. So 1 on the doorstep, 4 in the units. 8 add 5 is 13. Add the 1 down here is 14. 1 on the doorstep, 4 in the box. 6 add 5 is 11, plus the 1 down here is 12. 1 on the doorstep, 1 in the box. I've finished now, so I just need to bring this number that's on the doorstep back into the box. And there we have it. Over to you, so try the ones in your workbook, pause the video and have a go. And here are the answers. Now, what about when numbers are different lengths? We always line the numbers up so that the units are under each other. So have a look at this one. 456 plus 35. 3 digits, 2 digits. So what I must make sure is that I have a digit under the units in both numbers. If it doesn't have a unit, it's not a number. It has to have something under the units. So as you can see, the gap is under the hundreds, not the units. And let's just have a look at how that works. A good way to make sure you get this right is to write them in backwards. So start with the units first when you're writing them in. Another way to make sure you get it right is to draw a line down the side of the sum and make sure that there's a number up against that line. And then we carry on as normal. 6 add 5 is 11. Oops. 5 add 3 is 8, and so on. Have a go at those in your book. Remember, write them backwards if necessary. Make sure you have something under the units. Pause the video and have a go. And this is what you should have got. Right, our final section is looking at when we add more than 2 numbers. Quite often, especially if we're adding things like shopping lists and prices, you end up having to add more than 1 number. The beauty of the column addition is you can do it all at once. So I've got 437 plus 168 plus 29. Be careful, one number is shorter than the others, so make sure that they're written in correctly. So we write them all in, and I can do as many numbers as I want to here. I could have 10 numbers being added up, but we're going to look at 3. Nothing changes. We start with the units and we add them together. So 7 add 8 is 15, and then add on 9, that would be 24. So I did it as 7 and 8 and got my 15. 7 and 8 was 15, and then I add on the 9 to get 24. Let's have a look at the next one. In the next column I have 3 and 6, which is 9, and then I'm going to add on the 2, which will be 11, and I mustn't forget to add on this 2 as well. 11, 12, 13. That should be a 13 there, let's change that. That's a mistake, sorry about that. That should be 13. And then we go to the last column. 4 add 1 is 5, add 1 is 6. So do it in 2 steps. Add the first 2 numbers together, get an answer, and then add the third one on. And the doorstep as well. Don't forget to add the ones like I did. Don't forget to add the ones underneath. Over to you. Try the ones in your book. Then restart the video to see if you got them right. And there are the answers.